you really can't get around it. Everybody and their mom are talking about Parasite, you know, like South Korean cinema is super hot once again. So let's take a look at a perhaps somewhat overlooked Korean movie, The Chaser, directed by Na Hong-jin, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, whose latest movie, The Wailing, got quite some attention, at least in the horror community, a few years back when it came out. Not an easy watch, but ultimately quite rewarding, in my opinion. But we're not here to talk about The Wailing, we're here to talk about The Chaser, his quite impressive directorial debut. So yeah, let's take a look. So, we follow this guy, a somewhat shady, bad-tempered ex-detective turned pimp. It's like a crash course on how to write likable characters, am I right? He sees himself more as a guardian though, and he does seem to care for his girls. But two of his girls recently went missing, so when he realizes he just sent another girl to the guy that might be responsible, he's like, yo, text me the exact address and, you know. But then, so the pimp goes to take a look for himself, when suddenly... Dang. And then it doesn't take long for him to realize that, well, that's the guy that he's looking for. And, well, this wouldn't have been called The Chaser if we weren't gonna get some badass chase scenes. So, here you go. And really, I've only seen this movie twice now, but I really feel like these, you know, like these little streets and the chases throughout, it's pretty memorable. And we're only some 30 minutes in at this point, so when he finally catches him, you're like, it's over, right? Short movie. But this is really only the beginning, and after this is just disaster after disaster, leaving the viewer's hope shattered time after time. And one important thing to know going into this movie is that it isn't per se one of those, you know, like hard-hitting, ultra-violent Korean revenge thriller, you know, along the lines of Old Boy and I Saw the Devil. I mean, it kinda is, but you're also gonna get a lot of, you know, like police procedural elements, more along the lines of, for example, Memories of Murder. And, well, both is cool. It's just, you know, after such a amazing first 30 minutes, the movie just kind of takes a dip in pacing during the middle part of it. Because really, the first act, it's quite nerve-wracking. The bad guy, apparently based on this real-life Korean serial killer, he's crazy. And the tension that's continuously being built up by, you know, the pimp finding stuff out or the bad guy almost getting caught, it's really effective. But then, after the part where you figured it was all over already, there's gonna be a lot of screaming and shit and, you know, just like inept police work, seemingly a staple of Korean cinema. Are the police in Korea really that inept and corrupt? Or do they just happen to be so in every Korean movie I watch? Or, you know, are they trying to make a statement? Anyway, from here on out, the story becomes borderline frustrating with, you know, how it doesn't play out the way you want it to. For example, like how they can't properly prosecute the bad guy, stuff like that. So, the pimp goes rogue, you know, with him being an ex-detective and stuff, and then it gets a little more badass again. I mean, speaking of, that was pretty badass. And, well, like I said earlier, this is sometimes, actually very often, described as a violent revenge thriller, and it does indeed get pretty out there, violence-wise. It's just that these scenes are quite few and far between. Doesn't mean they're not effective, they sure are. It's just not the only thing that this movie has to offer. Also, this movie, and well, the director's work in general, it tends to be somewhat over the top and melodramatic. Also kind of a staple in a lot of Korean movies that I see. It's not really bothersome. You just might have to accept a few times that some of these characters have like superhuman strength, you know, when it comes to getting punched a lot. But yeah, don't come for just the violence. Also appreciate, for example, the performances, especially the two leads. The main character's arc, as you know, somewhat predictable as it might be, or even questionable in the sense that, you know, you probably wonder, like, why does he care so much? It's effective. It really works. You have this flawed, somewhat unlikable main character, and you still go through the movie rooting for him. Also, great to see both leads, you know, the actors in Nahum Jin's, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, his follow-up movie, The Yellow Sea, but in reverse roles. You know, switching protagonist and antagonist, which really showcases the range that these actors have. Despite me not really caring for that movie, you know, for The Yellow Sea as much as this movie, The Chaser. But what I like most about The Chaser is just how absolutely bleak and hopeless it is. Which maybe sounds weird because that's, you know, that's not something you usually describe it, you know, as something you'd like. But you know, sometimes you're just in the mood for a movie that'll really leave you with a feeling like, damn son. And well, this movie surely delivers on that front. Continuously throughout the movie you're like, well, surely it can't get worse than this. But then, well, go figure. And despite it being somewhat melodramatic and, you know, that it tends to go over the top, like I already said, it's realistic in the sense that life just doesn't always play out the way you want it to. And I love that in that sense, this movie just keeps on surprising you really up till the very last few minutes. So yeah, that's The Chaser for you. At 2 hours long, it does tend to drag a little at times, but once again, that probably says a lot more about how awesome and thrilling the first 30 minutes are, rather than, you know, like something about the actual pace of the rest of the movie. I mean, the police procedural aspect of this movie makes for some fantastic scenes as well. Like this one, where the bad guy is being interrogated by this high-up police guy. It's intense stuff. So yeah, if you're in the mood for a brutal, unforgiving thriller with a lot of police paperwork, be sure to give The Chaser a chance. It's actually really good. I got it on DVD, the US release. It seems like it hasn't gotten a lot of HD love yet, which is kind of a shame because, well, this movie surely deserves it. Cheers, guys. Have a nice day.